Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And our listeners know that we're trying to find the best of the best for you to get some new ideas and some new things from. And today's guest, you guys going to love today's guest. I met him a few years ago. And he's above average handsome. That's what we hate about him. He's a good chef. We hate that about him too. But deep down, he's a really amazing human being. And you guys gonna meet him right after this. Hello again, my name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And today I have a really amazing episode for you guys. We call it The Curtain Behind the Scenes, and the why and the story and the transparency, why it matters more than ever. And today's guest, you guys gonna love today's guest. So I need to brag a little bit about him. I met him through a partner I had a few years ago, Joe Rodriguez. And Joe brought on this guest you guys gonna meet shortly today. And he said, Christian, we need to have this guy come be part of our mastermind. He's not amazingly good at what he does. He knows so many people. Christian, you're going to hate him because he's really good looking guy. So, I said, I hate him already. And then, so we met him a few times and he's just an amazing, amazing human being. And you guys going to meet him today. And I want to say, welcome, Chef Charles, to the show. Thanks for coming to the Disruptive Chef Show.
Well, thank you for letting me be here, Christian. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing. Love what you're doing with this podcast. The idea of challenging the kitchen, that's ballsy. I love it. It's we barely lived through the old model, right?
Yeah.
So spent some time creating a new one, and I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah. Now, I'm really excited for today's conversation because we're going to talk about your career, which spanned from private dining to high-touch catering, mentorship programs. You were part of our culinary executive mastermind, and your strong beliefs in hospitality, and that if guests would ever see how it works behind the scenes, that they would look at hospitality totally different. And for me, the reason I feel our audience is going to get a ton out of this conversation today, because your entire career, your entire philosophy has led you to not just embrace transparency, human connection, and the true story behind every plate. It's the exploration of old school kitchen culture, the pressure of performance, and why leadership, and I call this leadership on purpose, built on trust and everything else more than ever. So with that, Chef Charles, how did it start with you? How did you get into the industry? How did you wind up in hospitality?
Well, I'm a country boy. I am from a rural area of the Salween Valley, but I wanted something more. I actually got a athletic scholarship. So I went to that university and I flunked out. I flunked out because I'm school. Here's a country boy in the big city in Los Angeles. There was too much on for me. I was naive. I saw the bright lights and, among other things, the pretty girls and the early repute, and I got kind of caught up in that. But here comes the restaurant jobs. I became a student way back, in the early 80s. I'm not going to tell you how early you can be. And so I worked at a five-star hotel downtown Los Angeles. And so that's where it all, one day, the cook had a hangover. Imagine that. Others were behind, and people were just, were in here and in my face, and oh man, it was just a mess. And so I went into the kitchen, and of course, I was I was 21, so I was very impatient, arrogant, and whatever 21-year-old boy can be at that point. And so by him, he started yelling at me, and he threw a knife at me, missed me. They escorted him out of the kitchen, so we had no cook. And so I said, well, there's nobody else to cook. I might as well try it. I went in the back, and at the end of service, I got us out. Then the chef called me in early the night. He wanted to talk to me. I go, oh man, I'm fired as well. And so he brought me into the office. And you know what? He thanked me. Thanked me for pulling him through the service. I go, wow. And he offered me a job in the kitchen. And that's how it all started. So I started as a pantry. 8 weeks later, there was an opportunity to go to San Francisco, apprentice, a culinary apprentice. And so he sponsored me because in those days you had to be sponsored. And so off to San Francisco to at the Hope. It was a renowned restaurant school, but attached to that there was a culinary apprenticeship that was 6,000 hours. And needless to say, and that's how it all started. That started, Christian. The knife.
I love that, and you talk a lot about old beliefs. You call it that guests should never see the work what's going on. But then you also
No.
shared that there was a time where you cooked a dish in front of guests, and that totally changed the way you looked about hospitality. So walk us through that night and
Right.
what shifted for you.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, it was the first time I've ever cooked duck. All right. And so there was 300 people in a dining room, and their plate was for no other person. I don't know if you remember this actress. She's an Italian actress. So beautiful. Gosh. Anyway, the name will come to me because I'm really excited thinking about it. But she walked down the stairs into the dining room. She walked down the stairs. Isabella Rossellini, that's her name. Isabella Rossellini. She walked down the stairs in a black dress, and the whole dining room went quiet. So we all looked in amazement, and she walked down the stairs, and the maitre d', all the tables were full. The maitre d' pulled the table from the back, put the linen on. She had herself. But I was instructed to cook her food, and so by the chef, and so I made her duck confit, duck breast, some what we would call now Roubichon potatoes, and some fresh vegetables we got from Napa. And at that point, I knew this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. It was just an amazing thing. It was dreamy. It was surreal. The energy. It was just the most powerful pull that I've ever had. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that story. And you also said something else, and you called it the power showing the craft, where you talked about it's not just about the connection, it's not just about illusions. Is how did embracing transparency change your approach to private dining, and not just private dining? How did it change for you to bring that next level of guest experience to the table?
But for me, it was all about passion and learning from the best, your fellow countrymen. What can cook. I learned from Alice Waters. I learned from Jeremiah Tower. All those old guys that these chefs don't know anything about, right? But I just found that you have to immerse yourself in it. there's a ethereal feeling when I'm in the kitchen. I just feel so free. It's artistry, it's work, it's passion, it's a mix of fire, and it's a mix of artistry. And so I know that sounds a little arty, and I don't
Yeah.
expect people to understand that feeling, but you're talking about transparency too. I'm giving you exactly what I felt. I just felt that feeling that you can't get, putting together a table, or maybe a construction worker as it felt. I don't know. The bottom line, a chef that really loves his craft and knows he's going to do this the rest of his life is in love with what he does. And
Yeah.
I'm in love with what I do. But here's the deal. Back then, things were a little more cruel. And I would say cruel because I remember a chef, if it wasn't right, it would stick the tongs inside the grease and shit, And so there was, I got many stories like that. And so forward person, I swore I was going to change that. There's the beauty of the Escoffier kitchen, right?
Mhm.
But then there's that untold story of the Escoffier kitchen. Well, let's both keep the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff, and let's put in what we know is going to work. And that's what my transparency is to get rid of that old belief, the cruelty, the the put downs, the those old vitriolic ways of training people.
Yeah.
Um, I don't train them. That's what I'm aiming for now.
I love it. And let's stick with the good because you brought up Wolfgang Puck. And you talk about this that you took a chance and you took an apprenticeship with Wolfgang Puck that not just was amazing for you, but totally changed your whole direction. What do
Mm-hmm.
you, what did you learn during those days or those early days? And what of
Wow.
those things you have learned still guide you today?
Discipline.
Mm.
Number one is discipline. But also, how much pain can you take?
Yeah.
Discipline getting up in the morning, going to school, going to work, and doing it over and over and over again. And um, I learned that my body can take a beating, that my spirit could take a beating. I learned that my intellect used to grow. I
Mhm.
learned that I can take a lot of shit and not give it out. But
Mhm.
I learned so much. I learned how to work with other people. Learned to work with other people from all over the world. And cooks are a different sort. They really are. Um, Normal people don't go into the kitchen. They don't make the culinary arts or profession.
Mhm.
Talk about normal. I talk about people outside the kitchen that work in the office or that may work in a cubicle. Can't do it. Can't do it. I learned that there's a lot of things I needed to change.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I would no longer tolerate. I learned that I'm working around some really talented people, and I better get better every single day. Especially at Post Trio in San Francisco, I was working with some amazing, amazing chefs. I am never going to be that good, but kept on trying, kept on experimenting, kept on making mistakes, kept on burning myself, kept on working those 16 hours, kept on doing it, and I was as good or better than they were. So it just takes, yeah, it does take talent. It does take talent, but
Yeah, I
that's
think
what.
yeah, I think he takes more than that. I think he, let's pivot because you talk about to that you learn to respect ingredients, and the reason I'm saying it learns more than to be a good chef because you need to respect the craft. And you talked a lot about respecting the ingredients. And
Right.
listen, a lot of our listeners don't know, but you did farm to table before it was sexy. Okay. And I remember you telling the story that you walked the fields of Napa Valley, you walked the fields of Sonoma, and you worked with farmers, and you did this by honoring ingredients. How does that early exposure influence the way you cook? Not just cook, the way you lead today.
Well, farm to table goes way back for me. That's the way it used to be done. We sensationalize it and we put it to the forefront. But I think you recognize this too, Kristen, is that the child, my father used to grow all our vegetables. He had a small orchard in the backyard. He had tangerines, tangelos, blood oranges, grapefruits. In the summertime, we had these incredibly beautiful tomatoes and different kinds of chilies and cucumbers and eggplant, and the smell of the soil and the purslane that would grow around it. Um, so that flavor, that taste never goes away. That is the
Yeah.
standard, right? And so the first time I witnessed farm people, a bunch of cooks and I at a 5-star restaurant in San Francisco. I'm going to name it, but he got into a van, a white van, down San Francisco. We went to Napa Valley and we started picking stuff from a field. I go, now this is me, right? We would pick the tomatoes and we would pick the zucchini, we pick flowers, and we pick all this stuff. There's lots of different herbs, and that's the first time I used fresh herb food. Um, so that totally changed my feel of farm to table. That totally changed everything that I've ever cooked from then to now. So farm to table is huge for me, and it not only that, it goes further back. I used to buy my school clothes working out in the vineyards, so I'm used to the smell of that beautiful dirt and the fruit.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old when I started picking tomatoes. 12 years old when I was starting picking grape in the Central Valley fields. So it was part of me. Um, yeah, and I had a bit of a head start. Moving forward, brought it to the restaurants. And every restaurant that I've ever been involved with is farm and table. When I was at the Burlington Country Club, they had their own garden. They had their own garden, and it was had their own gardener. And so that was always part of my trajectory. I've tried those positions in those big franchises and restaurants. It didn't work for me. The food was less and flavorless, and so I had to go back to what I love. And the farm to table is what I do, and I'm always going to do. So,
I,
but not
I,
only that, there's so many ways you can help people do it. In the city of San Francisco, right? In the Tenderloin district, absolutely the the worst district in San Francisco. On the sidewalks, you've got dealers and you've got ill repute everywhere. There is a lot of uh, there's some nutritionally challenged people there because they live on a stipend or they live on Social Security. So a lot of these people didn't have enough money to buy fresh food. So there's only one way out is to grow a garden. But where are you going to grow a garden in the concrete jungle? So you get on the roof and you put a garden on the roof. And then we started doing that. We started putting in roof gardens for folks that by the 19th or the 20th didn't have enough money to buy groceries. So at the very minimum, they can go to the commissaries that were built for them, dried food commissaries. They can go upstairs and get a couple of carrots or some cucumbers, or tomatoes don't grow well in San Francisco, but there's other leafy vegetables. Um, it's been an important part of my culinary identity, I believe. So,
Mhm.
and I can go on with many other
Yeah,
stories,
no,
but
I love that. You also talk about how the whole industry changed and how you changed before even the industry changed. You talk a lot about that early in your career. You remember kitchen were loud, the kitchen were aggressive, they were ego driven. So talk to us in the audience a little bit. What opened your eyes to a different model of leadership or how working in a kitchen, and how that changed the style you showed up for other people which work for you?
well, truth be told, I'm a bit of a crybaby. So I started working in community-based kitchens, right? And I can't imagine a chef with any with the old style training going into a community kitchen where you've got people that are just freshly off the street, out of prison, addicted, and
Mhm.
try to make them work in the kitchen. That is not going to work. So um, these hard people softened me up.
Yeah.
Um, there was times, Christian, where I have to pull myself aside because I would see this line out the door of people that would know food.
Hmm.
And we would be in these community kitchens and these tilt fryers and flat tops trying to make enough food for all these people. And some of the food was questionable. I mean, we used to get food, second rate food from donations or whatever. And these community kitchens didn't have enough to feed 15, 1,600 people a day.
Hmm.
At one point, we were 100 people a day and not enough to feed them. So if that doesn't soften you up, I don't know what does. So
Yeah.
uh, what 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 I did is come up with a whole new plan on how to manage a kitchen with these kind of folks because they were really heartfelt. They worked really hard, and it's there has the old model did not work. So with that new model that I created, I then moved that forward back into the restaurant business, so to speak, not the
Mm.
not the not the soup kitchen business, but the restaurant business. And what happened is amazing. We had these young cooks with great talent, but no discipline.
Yeah.
We, but they listened because they were treated with respect. They were treated with kindness. Um, one thing we have to understand is that a chef or a person in the industry has to think about what they need. Um, we forget about mental health. We
Mm.
forget about stewardship. We forget about mentorship. We forget about all these things. So I put those right back into my management plan.
Mm.
And I tell you, it's been very effective, very effective. And
I
it's changed the trajectory of what I've been to chef. As a
I
matter of fact, I still mentor some of the cooks. They
yeah.
cut on Sunday. It was like a carousel in here of all the different cooks that came in to talk to me. What's next? What do I do? And relationships that that I've created through this new plan.
I love that. And for me, mentorship is really important because
Mm-hmm.
um, our industry attracts people. It's really hard to get used
Mm-hmm.
to this industry. Okay, the industry loves you, or you love the industry, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
you talk a lot about that what you do today. You focus on mentorship. You focus on trust. You focus on giving cooks a voice. So in your opinion, what does a strong modern kitchen culture look like, and what do today's kitchen leaders get wrong in your opinion?
today's kitchen is mentorship over martyrdom, right? You mentor them because a lot of these people come in broken.
Yeah.
The second thing is whole chef that we just talked about, that meaning emotional intelligence, wellness. They usually go into the be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So give them a shadowless time to create. Give them that little corner back there and say, okay, you got 15 minutes to create. That's your time. Um, give them boundaries. This is what you need to do. This is the time that it needs to be done. Here's another one that's a bit controversial: AI training. We just talked about that. Technology eliminates burnout. It helps eliminate burnout. It helps. It doesn't do much for artistry, but it helps eliminate, and it helps you get to the point where you want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Community and accountability. Okay, get them involved. Get them involved in the community. Involved in those gardens, those community gardens. Involved in those kitchens. Give them a flavor where the other half lives.
Mm-hmm.
We make all the sexy food for the elite, but yet there's some people out there that don't have it. So give them that side of the story, and if that doesn't soften them up, well, I don't think nothing will. Standards, you've got to keep. I set a standard. There are a couple of organizations like the Forbes 5-star standard. There is the Michelin standard. I abide by those standards. So if you're coming into my kitchen, you're going to abide by those standards, but you have to have buy-in. You have to have buy-in. If you're going to come into my kitchen, you have to understand that you have to reach out. And so if you don't, by all means, we have an agreement. You can leave any time, but you have to be open. You have to be open. And the other thing is, you have to be humane. Be humane. It's a tough business. It's an emotional business, and we as chefs and professors have to recognize that.
Yeah.
And that's how I move forward with my kitchen.
Yeah.
So those are the things I use.
I love that. So I asked this question, and our listeners know that. So if you have one focus for the rest of your life, and that focus needs to be on culture, what would that focus be for you in the kitchen?
To be of service.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you? How can I help you help others?
Yeah.
That focus, because
Done.
if I can help you be a better person, then you're a better person to others.
Mm-hmm.
I live that.
Yeah. So,
As a
yeah, if you wouldn't be a chef, what other career would you have gone into?
well, I'm going to be a dentist. I actually applied to UOP, University of Pacific. That's a whole nother story. My father was so disappointed that I wanted to be a cook, rather as he would speak to me for months. And Dad, no, I want to put food in people's mouth, not stick my hands in people's mouth. And so I don't know why it was a random choice. That's the direction that I was going. And I had the grades to do it. I just didn't like it. So, but that would have been my path,
Mm.
But I don't. It's who knows things, Kristen. It's God's path, not mine.
Yeah.
So
No, I
indeed.
totally agree. So let's help our listeners understand a little bit more of who you are and what drives you. So if you would look over the next year, so we just about the new year,
Hmm.
what is Chef Charles for working or focusing on Chef Charles for the next few months? And what is Chef Charles focusing on a business for the next few months?
Well, for me, a couple of months is to develop CR Armenta hospitality. And
Mm,
that is an experience based event. It's an experiences. I don't want to call it an event company. It's an experiences company, but I'm putting my soul into it because I want to connect with my client. I want to know what's some tick.
mm,
I want to know about their childhood favorite things. That grilled cheese sandwich they might have had when they were 10 years old with a Coca-Cola while watching the Brady Bunch. I don't know. What connects you? What do misty? What drives you? Your favorite things? Um, so those are the questions that we ask our clients. It has very little to do with food, but what it does, it evokes emotion. And
mhm.
so for me, when I have a client, I get deep into that part of them because I'm watching with the food
Yeah,
from the soil, plant to the kitchen to the table to into their heart. That is where we want to be at Sierra Menta Hospital.
I love
And
that.
I'm not going to tell you that it's not cheap to do this, but we're not making a killing either. So
Yeah.
it's important
So,
because I think all too often are so used to mediocrity and just the
yeah.
machine out there. They don't
Mm,
they don't understand that there's something so much better out there. And that we offer that. Yeah. Yeah.
and our listeners,
But the other mentor
yeah.
young chefs. I want to bring in young chefs, and if it's going to be an apprenticeship, if you will, if you have buy-in, if you want to be part of CRM hospitality, I will mentor you. I will teach you everything that I know. I will get to where you're designated or those hours are accounted so you can certify yourself, whether you want to be a
Hmm.
certified cook or certified, sous chef or whatever it is that you desire. I can help you do that.
Yeah.
But it
Awesome.
takes dedication and it takes
Yeah.
discipline. And those are the things we ask for at CR Mental Hospitality
I,
on the back
I,
end. So,
I love that. And I want to say thanks for sharing as freely as you did. I want to bring something else for our audience, which a lot of them might not
sure,
know. You have a brand new wife
I
beside you.
do.
So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, gosh. Well, so let me tell you the short story. Um, I was doing some work at a nonprofit, and I needed an assistant because I wanted to get a catering company for. And so I need sweet and energetic and creative. Wow! So here comes this woman into the office, and I was speechless. I was literally thunderstruck. And I go, "What?" I go, "What?" And I was trying to keep my composure. That's never happened. So he was crazy. And so I was just, I go, I can't believe this. So anyway, we started working together and, it was God's will. It was just happened. She is much younger than me. That's no secret, but it all worked out. And she chose me. I didn't choose her. So,
No,
and we married
that
9 months later,
that is
so
awesome.
yeah.
So
So,
I first,
but she's
as you
here
were
with me all the time.
Yeah, no, she's amazing, and we need to bring her on the next podcast. But at first, she said you needed somebody young, somebody energetic. I thought you were talking about me, and then okay, see how.
Well, you too, Kristen. You
No,
too. But yeah, she's from
no.
South Africa, and she has a beautiful accent.
Listen, she's amazing, and I think you guys make
Yeah,
an amazing couple.
she is.
And I'm really excited for you, and congratulations, that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank you.
to our listeners, so Charles, if anybody wants to know more about Charles Armenta's hospitality group or about you, where can people learn more about you?
They can get on Instagram, and I have our emails there. They can message me if they like. I'm open to talking to anybody about anything.
That's awesome.
They can ask any question. It's my choice, but they can ask me anything they want. So yeah.
Awesome. So with that, we want to ask you if you want to play rapid fire question food service edition.
Let's
So
do it.
you're up for that. Okay. So our listeners know exactly how it works. For you, it's really simple. So we have 25 questions. We went all high tech. We took your information, everything we know about you. We dumped it into our AI model. We
Okay.
had 83 questions and spit out 25 questions just
All
for
right.
you. Are you ready? So the way it works is you give me a number. I read out the question, and we want to have you answer as quickly as you can. Yes or no. And why? Because we're nosy. So you're up for it. Okay.
Okay.
Give
All
me
right.
your
Ready.
first, give me your first number between 1 and 25.
Let's go 10.
10. Chefs should meet the farmers who grow their ingredients. Yes or no. And why?
Yes, because then you can tell them exactly how much you give them,
Mhm.
and they can grow whatever you want if you ask them.
Awesome. I love that. And also, if the farmer is a punk, you said, I'm not buying from you again. Okay. That's how just it works. Okay. Give me a number between 1 and 25.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Give me a number
That's
between
funny.
1 and
Okay.
25.
15.
15. Ooh, it's an oldie but goodie. Pineapple on the pizza. Yes or no. And why?
Absolutely not. No. 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 Yeah. No. And I vomit. I've actually had pizza, and it makes me vomit. It does.
God,
Literally, I cannot have hot pineapple pizza because I vomit.
and to all
It's
the pineapple on the pizza lovers, I please forgive me that I brought on Chef Charles, because yesterday Howard Stern talked about that his wife put on pineapple on the pizza. So I think there's two camps for that. Okay, give me a number between
yeah,
1
no.
and 25.
16.
16. Have you ever cooked in pajamas just to see if it makes the food taste better? Yes or no, and why?
No. My wife cooks in pajamas. No, no.
It's too much information.
I don't wear pajamas. I don't want to go further than that. I don't wear
I'm not
pajamas,
sure.
Christian.
I'm not sure where these questions come from. Okay, give me a number between 1 and 25.
7.
7. Simple dishes with a strong story taste much better. Yes or no, and why?
Say that again.
Simple dishes tell a stronger story. Yes or no, and why?
Yes. Yes. Many times, yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because mama cooks really simple, and she brings back lots of memories for me.
Mm,
Yep.
I
Simple
love that.
food. Oh yeah.
I absolutely love that. My grandma used to make these green beans, and she put the onion powder on it. It was the worst thing you're
Hmm.
supposed to put on it, but every time I smell it, it makes me think about her. It's crazy, and I tried to replicate it. It was never as good as she made it. So I totally
I
okay. Last
I got a green
question.
bean story. I got a green bean story. I have to interrupt you. I have a green bean story. So, when we had green beans, I knew we were poor
Hmm?
because I knew it was close to that paycheck day or whatever. It was scrambled green beans, and I used to hate them together. Right? I love scrambled eggs. I love green beans, but not together. But anyway, that was just something that popped up. Sorry about that.
Actually, I wouldn't mind. I want to try that. Eggs and green beans. I happen to love green beans. It doesn't matter how they come. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah.
I clean them. I do the right thing. I love green beans. So,
Christian, they were out of a can. They were out of a can. They were that great green color, and
okay.
they used to,
Oh,
I knew we were poor. I go, oh
okay.
man, this is not a good day.
I have never tried that. But okay, last question. Give me a number between 1 and 25.
25.
Ooh, cooking is more about people and the person cooking it than actual food. Yes or no, and why?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because I cook out of love. And I usually cook for the people that I love. That's an easy one. Yeah.
Mm,
I cook for love. That's what I cook.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, my grandma was my mom, and she made the best mashed potatoes. She put so much butter in it, but it was. If I think about it now, I just like woo. But it's just listen. She made the mess.
Well, maybe that's where Joel Robuchon got his Robuchon potatoes from. Who knows?
Yeah, and
Butter and potatoes, man.
I always tell she was 104, never was sick, amazing human being, and she had this thing before she went to bed. She ate a pound of or dark chocolate with a glass of red wine. And there's days I remember she fell asleep in front of the TV because she didn't remember she had one or two glasses before that. But 104 years old, absolutely
That's
amazing.
fantastic. What's the red
Yeah,
wine and chocolate to keep alive?
yeah. That was her thing. She says a pound of dark chocolate and a glass of wine works every time. And
Uh-huh.
104. So absolutely amazing. So with that completes
Well,
rapid fire question food service edition. Chef Charles, thanks for
well,
playing.
thank you. That was fun.
Bef-
Thank you very much for that.
Before
That
we let
was
you
fun.
go, we want to know what was the best advice you ever gotten you never acted on.
Woo. Well, dang. Well, I think I'll tell you what I heard recently
Mhm.
from my, but I did act on it, but I usually didn't act on it. Humility, arrogance and pride were
Mhm. I love
so
that.
true. And
So
so,
true.
as a chef, we have to be careful of arrogance and
Yeah.
pride. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Awesome. That was an awesome conversation. The next time we need to have a 2.0 of this conversation. We want to know how we can all have a younger wife. Okay. We need to give us the do's and don'ts, because
You got lucky. I got lucky.
and
I got lucky.
and you are above average handsome. That's why everybody hates you. We all don't like you because of I just wanna-
Oh, you're sweet. I appreciate that, Christian.
but listen, I love to reconnect with you. I love to hear your story. I love the way you look at food, and for me, There were so many things he said today, totally connected me why I do what I do. And I really appreciate you being part of our show. So, and for our
me, it was
yeah.
quite an.
Thank you. And to our listeners, I want you to write on the comments below what connected you with that conversation from Charles today. And do you like your green beans? It doesn't matter if they come out of the can or if you make them yourself. Let us know what do you like on green beans. And then also, if there is somebody you know that can benefit from this conversation, forward them a copy of this podcast. So with that, Chef Charles, I want to say thanks for being here today. Thanks for the gift of your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you again. Thanks for everybody watching as well.
Amazing to get with you. And to our listeners, until next time, remember to disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. I'm here with Chef Charles, and we are signing off. That means we are out of here. So be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. With that, everybody, go out, be disruptive, everybody. I see you in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.